Ooh. Plug in. All right, good morning, Acadiana. Dave Schultz with the Schultzycast, Acadiana Sports Show. Hopefully everybody is safe and sound. Unfortunately, we did see some people or not. That was, I will say we were warned all day yesterday. I actually went out running at 4:30, 5 o'clock. It's cloudy, but it got bad, real bad later on. I'm in the middle of Lafayette, so we were okay. We being me, myself, and I guess my neighbors. I haven't gone outside yet this morning. Looked outside when it was coming. It did not look good. Usually I like opening the door, and I just decided maybe I'll skip that part this time. Tragedy. It's brutal. I'm not sure what you do if you're driving home. Someone I knew drove home in the middle of it. Like I'd be safe and sound, maybe under the table at work. Saw a tractor trailer was toppled over on the I-10 bridge in Lake Charles. Goodness. And they do give you, I know not everybody has one, but the emergency buzzer came over the phone a couple of times. So if I'm actually driving, I'm not only pulling off the highway. Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably going to get out of the car and get into a restaurant or something like that, right? You don't want to be at a gas station. Those things topple over too. Hopefully everyone's doing okay today. We'll see what the damage is with the sun coming up, right? It kind of hit, just before, the sun went down. And I thought we were supposed to get round 2, but we really didn't. So hopefully everyone's okay. We're doing okay here. I had my own issues. I hate it when I can't figure out technology. And this is talk about not really mattering, right? This is absolutely first world issues. But I had issues, with my Wi-Fi yesterday, and I hate it when I can't figure it out. I made one adjustment. That should not be the adjustment that I need to make, but apparently that's the difference. So we'll figure it out. We got who's coming out here? LUS Fiber coming out tomorrow. So again, please hopefully stay safe. I think we're supposed to get more weather this weekend. We'll see. I'm out of here this weekend. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, unfortunately missing the final series of the, covering softball and baseball all season long, and I'm missing the last series of the season. Not cool. All right. It is the Schultzycast, episode 37. Please like and share. Cajun softball, looking forward to it. We got the chance to talk with Jerry Glasgow again yesterday. I did ask him, and he actually had a good answer. It was a little bit of a cliche answer because the pitching moves didn't work out on Sunday. They did work out on Saturday, right? Chloe got into trouble on Saturday. Sam comes in, a one pitch, double play. Leave Sam in there. Chloe comes in, I think 2 pitches, pop out. I mean, boom, 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 right? So I asked him, have he's ever made moves like that work so brilliantly? I'm not sure I'd put it that way, but he's like, yeah, it's more about the girls in the circle. So he said it was a tough question. I go, it's not that tough. Just one of those years. I go back to like Joe Torre in '96, like just every move that he seemed to make after, game 2 of the World Series just seemed to work. Every single move. Couple of things. I forgot Baylor came here. Baylor took 2 out of 3 from the Cajuns. Now, he did say he went back and looked at the tape a little bit, and everyone's lineup is different. Cajuns lineup is different. Baylor's lineup is different. One of the ESPN, sorry, I don't know her name, picked Baylor to win. And, he said, well, Baylor's already won 2 out of 3. I was like, well, I thought that was in Waco. No, it was here. And, Baco's tough schedule. I'm like, well, the Cajuns have the number 1 schedule. Baylor's got the number 6 schedule. So they are tested as well. I will say, and I think Cajuns fans, cry is not the right, complain would be the better word. Complain about every little thing. And I think they overreact, right? They're much more concerned with having Louisiana on the scoreboard than actually having more points on the scoreboard. All right. They're consumed with the lack of mascot, which is probably a thing I'm not necessarily thinking has to be a priority, but it is probably a thing. And Gus the Eagle, actually, I couldn't think of the right adverb or adjective, kind of a little bit of a low rent troll with his, sign that he made 5 minutes before he posted it, but it was a pretty good troll. Louisiana can't afford a mascot. So, but in this case, I think the Cajuns are right. I saw, and I didn't notice it until someone pointed out, Tyler Guidry pointed it out on Twitter, I guess. Cajuns game is on ESPN Plus. Baylor Ole Miss after that is on ESPN2. Now, I can't go through all of the 16 brackets, right? There's only so many channels that you can put it on, right? I mean, I don't know if there's even an ESPN News anymore, right? So there's ESPN and ESPN2, and that's about it. So out of, 16 brackets, the chances are, to be honest with you, there's probably better ball games than what the Cajuns against Princeton. All right. However, it still stinks that the Cajuns are hosting and Baylor Ole Miss is on ESPN2 rather than the Cajuns. Now, somewhere eventually, right? The Cajuns, you beat Princeton, you're probably going to be on ESPN2, right? You beat Baylor or Ole Miss, you're probably going to be on ESPN or ESPN2 somewhere along the way. I get it if, Texas, Oklahoma State, UCLA, Tennessee, LSU. I get it of other schools getting priorities. But when you're the host and you're going to the streaming compared to the other two schools who are bigger programs, I get it. It doesn't mean it doesn't stink. And that kind of stinks a little bit. That one kind of bites, right? I understand there may be more popular and bigger programs elsewhere, but you're the host. You should get the national broadcast. But it is what it is. You win, and you'll be on the national broadcast. Again, you beat Princeton. I presume Baylor and Ole Miss ball game will be on, regular cable, I guess. And then you win that ball game, and the next one or next two will be on there as well. So we shall see. We can go over the Cajuns, what they did against them. Because, again, I'll be the first to tell you, I have some good memories of these games. I have a pretty good memory with that. I don't really have memory of this one. Let me see. It could be because, let's see when it was. Softball. Because I really don't think I've missed too many ball games here at home. That could have been baseball. Friday and a doubleheader Sunday. Friday, February 16th. So the Cajuns won the first one 4-1. They lost the second game 6-0 and lost the third game, the doubleheader game, on Sunday 3-2. So there may have been weather on Saturday if they're pushing things back. So let's check it out quickly. Let's see what the box score was in the win. Cajuns scored 4 in the 5th, and Baylor put 1 on the board in the 7th. So that was Aliyah Binford for Baylor against Chloe, who, 1 run on 5 hits in 7 innings. And let's see what the 7th inning was. How many she gave up in the 7th inning? 1 base hit, 2 base hits, 3 base hits. So she 2-hit Baylor through 6. Pretty good. All right. Let's see what the lineup was for the Cajuns. I don't know the Baylor lineup, so and not many other people do as well. So let's see what the Cajuns lineup was. So you had Davis leading off, Alexa at second. The big change is Brooke Elstead was at short. Sophie Piscos, which she's no longer with the team. Lauren Allred was at first, so she's been banged up. Sam Rose at third, Vic catching. And in right field, Kayla Falterman was there. Laney Crater is your PH. And Maddie Hayden, sorry, in left batting ninth. So now you have Maddie batting second, right? Still playing left. Laney was hitting third, but that's kind of been changed a little bit. Lauren's not in the lineup. Sophie's not in the lineup anymore. Laney Crater could be hitting third as your DP, right? So Sophie's not in the lineup anymore. Lauren's not in the lineup anymore. Brooke Elstead is playing third, and Vasquez is at short. So Cece's at short. So that's a big difference. Let's see what happened on the second game. I'm going to guess that Sam didn't pitch all that well in this ball game. Let's see. So Baylor scored 1 in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third. That's actually against Lexi Delbray and Denali Locker. So Sam came in, actually pitched 3 2/3 of 3-hit shutout softball. So they pitched okay. So, or she pitched all right. All right. Cajuns lineup. I mean, they were behind the whole game. Let's see who pitched for that one was Crandall Riley. I guess Crandall Riley, Ryle. 4 shutout innings. And then in the nightcap, if you will, in the 3-2 ball game, Baylor scored 3 in the third, Cajuns with 2 in the sixth. Baylor 3 runs on 7 hits, Cajuns 2 runs, 4 hits, but the big thing is the 3 errors. So let's see if the 3 errors tied to the run. Sam Landry, 4 1/3, 3 hits, 3 runs, 1 earned. So it was Binford Aaliyah who pitched. I don't know the names. Cajuns do it backward. I'm going to go. That's Aaliyah Binford. Okay. It seems like they don't do it backwards. I'm sorry. So it's Riley Crandall who got the save. Aaliyah Binford got the win. She pitched better in the Sunday game than she did, although she did walk 5. So they had plenty of opportunity, even though they only had 4 base hits. Let's go back and rebuild that inning. Let's see what happened in the third inning. Flores walked. Pylon reached on a fielding error by Sam. So it's first and second. Wilson reached on a muff throw by first. So now you have the bases are loaded. Then a wild pitch. That scored 1 run. You did have 2 pop-ups, so you had 2 on and 2 out. Then you had another error by Sam, and that scored 2 more runs. So, I mean, they really could have got out of it. So that was bad. As it turns out, that was bad defense. Now the Cajuns on the hitting spree. Let's see if we can do all. Let's see here. Cajuns had 2 on and 1 out. In the first inning, could not score. In the third, they hit into a double play. That's 2 double plays. In the fourth, they had 1 run on. They had a leadoff double and didn't score. Bottom of the 5th, just 1 on and nobody out. They had chances here. In the 6th, let's see here. Davis singled. Haley reached on a fielder's choice. Davis out at second. So 1 on, 1 out. Langler's homered. So Allward had walked, but Elstead bounced into a double play. So Baylor pretty good defensively as well. They turned 3 double plays. So that wasn't a great defensive game by the Cajuns, and I guess specifically by Sam. So it should be a good series. Disappointed I'm missing it, but we will watch it from afar. I land, if on time, I land just as the game is starting. Now, we will need to hopefully have the phone fully charged and raring to go. Cannot upgrade to have the packed bag. Can't check the bag. So usually I'm going for Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, 4 nights. So kind of tough to do a carry-on, but that's what I'm going to do. You've learned, I'm not going to a hotel. I'm going to my brother's and sister-in-law so I can throw stuff in the laundry. So I don't have to bring, 18 different T-shirts to go work out in. Can bring like 2 or 3. And a couple of nice shirts, pair of shorts, swimsuit, whatever. But a lot of times, if I can upgrade to first class, in this case, they want $500 to upgrade, not all the way to Louisville, but just from here to Atlanta. Well, what's the point of that? It's like an hour and a half flight, and I'm going to be passed out for an hour of it. Guarantee it. I get on the plane, I will fall asleep. And it's only an hour. It says an hour and a half. It's not that far. But if it was like $90, $100, then I would do it because then that includes your bag. Then you can pack a little bit bigger of a bag. And then they get upset that you're, holding them up, waiting for me to get my bag. So in this case, I don't have to. All right. We may have to. Well, this will be carry on. Depending on what I pick up in Louisville, then we may have to check the bag. But on that end, no one cares that I've checked the bag because it's just me. All right. Dave Schultz, Schultzycast. Somehow, I didn't post this morning's Lockdown Sunbelt with Clay Helton, by the way, until today. That's on me. But somehow I didn't post the audio portion of the podcast from yesterday. I don't know. I didn't press go. Now, admittedly, with posting the podcast, and that's where I noticed I had the Wi-Fi issues. For this, sometimes, there's like 4 buttons, and I somehow don't press the last one. You keep on going, and I don't press publish. So I've done that numerous times. I don't know what happened. I've never not published the Lockdown Sunbelt. So I noticed I only had a few downloads, and I'll have to go back and republish it. One gets paid based on the amount of podcasts that they do. So I got to find out if I did that. All right, Cajuns baseball. South Alabama making their way here. I haven't heard if I presume they're playing in Southeastern tonight. They're playing Southeastern tonight in Hammond. So I presume that was done intentionally, right? You probably get the conference schedule and then you work around that. And South Alabama's like, well, let's just go play Southeastern if they have an opening, and they do on a Tuesday, so you can play here on Thursday. So we'll get to see my guy Mark Calvey before taking off to Louisville, maybe grab lunch with him on Wednesday, something like that, or dinner anyway. And we'll see where they are. So they're still trying to get a good seed. I don't know if they can get a 6 seed. That's going to be tough. Plus, they're playing the Cajuns. That's the problem for South Alabama. That's the issue for that. Let's see here. Baseball, softball. Baseball standings in the Sun Belt. South Alabama is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're tied for 7th. So Coastal Carolina is going to Marshall. Old Dominion is hosting App State, and South is coming here. That's not going to be easy. We didn't ask. I will say we didn't ask Deggs about Andrew Herman or Herman. I think it's Herman. I think he calls him Herman. Chase Fluno's good. Thinks that Deggs thinks he's a freshman All-American. Fluno pitched really well. We did not ask about Herman. So it may be Blake Marshall. I guess we'll find out eventually. And no, it won't be nearly as surprised. Well, let's see if they post. That's the easiest way. I don't know if they've posted those yet or not. So this is on RagingCajuns.com. I realized when I did the big surprise that I did not know the pitching rotation last week. I wasn't really clear on what sites I was getting it from. So they don't have the preview yet for the game notes, game info. Let's see here. No, not yet. All right. He'll put that up there later in the week. So we'll find out. I'm presuming it's Blake Marshall for some. I did talk to Kevin Foote yesterday, and he mentioned, and maybe Deggs mentioned it on Foote's show, LP prefers to come out of the pen for whatever reason. I can't imagine that's that big a difference. I explained why it may be a difference to foot. Like, you don't like the idea of sleeping on it, although I'm not sure if that's the way they do it. Usually the starting pitcher knows the day before. So you can get mentally prepared. But if you're being told you're coming in the second inning the day before, that doesn't really change anything, right? You still know you're coming in. So my theory could be hogwash. That's ridiculous. Usually as a reliever, unless you're the back end closer, you don't know if you're coming in. But this way, LP does know, and he's better off that way. So the idea somewhere along the way that you could use him twice in a week, but obviously that's not the case. That is not the case. Diggs had good things to say about Kyle DeBarge. I was going to say Blake Trahan, because there's just nothing left. I mean, I asked him if there's anything left to say. A lot of times you say no, but then go on, right? You answer the question in the negative, but then have something left to say about him. And he goes, he's just a better person than he is player. He's like, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to move on when he leaves. I mean, he's got that package, right? And I happen to think, I don't think he's missed an inning this year. I think some of the fielding issues, he's got a good arm. Someone's going to have to break down his range. It looks like he's got fine range going both directions. Being 5'9", I don't know if he's going to be a shortstop or a second baseman. Remember Bregman moved over to third. I happen to think you need a better arm at short than at third. Because third, usually you're in, and most of the time you're moving to your left. Once in a while you move to your right and make a throw. Bregman's done that fine, but the difference would be they had Carlos Correa at short, so they weren't moving him, and Altuve was at second. Alex, you're going to have to learn to play third. So we'll see where Kyle DeBarge is, right? And Bregman almost had as quick promotion as Paul Skeens had. I don't think it was quite a year, but it was. I think he came up in the middle of his second season. Let's see. Alex Bregman. Like if he was drafted in 15, he started his career in big leagues in 16. I'm pretty sure about that. Let's see here. Yeah. I mean, he played 50 games. So sometime in August, he got promoted in 16. Oh. Now, had a big ball game last night. Should mention a couple home runs for the Astros. So we'll see where Kyle is again. So size isn't as important in baseball as it is in football. We've seen that, or basketball for that fact of the matter. But there is something to that. If he had his stats and he was, 6'2", $185 instead of 5'9", 175, he wouldn't be. He's already considered the top shortstop, but he wouldn't be as the 85th prospect in the nation. He'd be the 35th prospect in the nation or the 25th prospect in the nation. So the 5'9" comes into play. And, they interviewed him a couple of times over the weekend on ESPN, on, Georgia Southern did. And he's well aware. He's like, I'm 5'9", 175 pounds. I'm, probably not supposed to be here doing what I'm doing. So he's got a little chip on his shoulder. Feels like it drives him. Right. But he fully understands who he is. Good shot that he's going to, set the all-time Cajuns home run record. In college sports, they do include postseason stats. So, or he's got, one weekend to get that 20th home run to set the record. I'm not sure anybody thought that when he showed up at, when he showed up on campus that he'd be setting home run records. And he's got a shot to do that. Also, by the way, I'm not sure I knew this. He's the emergency catcher. So what you've seen Deggs do the last couple of times is he pinch hits Clay Wargo, not for Torres. So if Wargo pinch hits and comes out of the ball game, or put it this way, no, do it the other way. If Wargo pinch hits in the DH spot and Torres gets banged up catching, then Wargo has to catch or your pitcher is hitting. Which I don't have a problem doing. I'd rather have that than maybe the other way around. But so basically, Jackson Halter is your emergency catcher. But is Jackson Halter going to be on the playoff roster? I think he said Jackson Halter was the emergency catcher, right? Guess who comes after that? Kyle DeBarge. I didn't know that. I think the Cajuns probably in a little bit of trouble if Kyle DeBarge is back there catching. But, if you get one of those crazy extra inning ball games, that very well could happen. So, but I did not know that. So he was talking about that. They do want a dog pile. Never sure I've heard of a coach talk about that so blatantly that they want a dog pile. They're the number one seed. He was like, here's the goals, right? We wanted to win 40. We want to win the conference. We want to win the conference tournament. We want to go to regionals, win supers, and get to Omaha, and that's the goals. And they win 2 ball games this weekend. They've won 40. Oh, top 25. They're in the top 25. And again, I think if they win 2 out of 3, I think they're in, right? Because 2 out of 3, they'll be in the 30s. Win 1 ball game in the conference tournament, and you'll still be in the 30s, and you'll get it. And you win the Sun Belt, you're in the 4th or 5th best conference. They're in. All right, I'm confident. Now, get swept by South Alabama and lose in the first round of the conference tournament, then I'm going to be a little nervous. I don't mind saying. But win 2 out of 3 against South Alabama. You've won the Sun Belt regular season. There comes the dog pile. And so you've reached your goals, right? You'll be in the top 25. You'll have won you've won the regular season. And I don't mind saying it will be interesting. So I don't know how good this team is. Because the teams, they did take down Southern Miss at home. I mean, you could say they got lucky to win 1. But I could go the other way and say Southern Miss got lucky to win 1. They very, very, very well could have lost, the Saturday ball game as well. But the 2 teams that they had issues with were playing on the road in their ballpark, which they are accustomed to doing. And, if you saw any of that Troy-Texas State series, you know that it was, Troy had issues hitting for a lot of that series. They got blanked. We're getting blanked in the second game for a bit. More walks helped than base hits, and they lost in the third game. And with all due respect, Texas State's just not that good this year. Now apparently Georgia Southern hammered Marshall, because I don't think Marshall's that good, but they hammered Marshall, and the Cajuns just got past Marshall. Like they scored 6 runs all weekend against Marshall type of deal. That's when the pitching really shined. And the pitching's doing pretty good right now, right? I mean, LP pitched really well. Morgan pitched well. The bullpen did not on Saturday. Fluno pitched extremely well. So I don't know how good the team is. Maybe we'll find out in Montgomery. All right, because that'll take Troy and Coastal out of their ballparks, right? You look at Coastal Carolina's 11-13 in conference. That's not great. That's not right. Are they 11? That's not right. Hold on. That's not right. 11-13 is 24. It should be closer to 27. Coastal Carolina's 13-14. So that's not, maybe it was from earlier in the week. They took 2 out of 3 from Georgia State. So they're 13-14. That's not great, right? So, and then, the Cajuns did a number, on Marshall, ULM, and Arkansas State. They beat those 8 out of 9, right? They did a good job on Georgia Southern. All right, a sweep is a sweep. I know baseball is not meant for that, but again, I didn't think Georgia Southern was all that good. So that could be because the Cajuns made them look that way, right? The Cajuns put up a bunch of numbers against them, right? 19, 6, and 9. I mean, that's a bunch of numbers. The bats came to play, and they got more than enough pitching. All right, a few more minutes here on Schultzycast, almost 50 here on the day. Thank you so much for popping in. Please like and share. Big question about LSU. I want to see LSU take 2 out of 3 from Ole Miss, win a ball game in Hoover, and the NCAA not put them in. I want to see that happen because I ain't believing it. If there's one team, and there's more than one team, but if there's one team that's going to get the benefit of the doubt, it's going to be LSU. Again, even if it was, Tennessee, it could be Tennessee, it could be Mississippi State, could be Ole Miss, could be, these. I don't know about Miami, maybe Florida. Florida would be a good example. Where, these perennial powers win the championship the one year and then not quite as good the next. I'm just not buying that they're going to leave them out. They say you got to get 13, and that's what the numbers would prove to you. But, isn't Ole Miss have a ridiculous RPI of like 24 right now? Like they're like one game ahead of LSU, and Ole Miss is sitting there at 24 and 11 and 16. They're going to leave out Ole Miss? I doubt it. They're going to leave out LSU? I don't think so. I'll be shocked. Get back to me when that happens. I'll be very wrong. So let's just say LSU wins 2 out of 3. So they'll be in the 30s somewhere, right? And they win 1 in Hoover. So that is 13 wins. I'll say Ole Miss loses 2 out of 3. They win 1 in Hoover, as long as it's not against each other, obviously. That's got 13 wins. They'll both be top 35 teams. I don't think they're leaving either one of those teams out. I just don't think so. I'd be shocked. Get back to me when that happens, right? If LSU gets swept by Ole Miss, which I don't think is going to happen, and they're in their 40s, then all right. Then okay. I just don't think they're on nearly the bubble. I'm not even sure. If the Cajuns were 34, but they're winning the conference, that's different. So if the Cajuns had that kind of deal, then it'd be a problem. But it's LSU. I don't think they're leaving LSU out. That's what I don't think. I don't happen to think so. So we shall see. If anyone's going to get the benefit of the doubt, it's going to be the Tigers. Also, it's the defending champs, right? So if it was one of those other teams that's defending champs, I think the same thing would be the case. But LSU's been a perennial power for 30 years, 34 years, 35 years. And they're the defending champs. If they can squeeze them in somewhere, they're going to squeeze them in. Now, that's going to matter on, who wins some of these other conference tournaments. Like, does my buddy Mike Glavin at Northeastern, if they don't win the conference tournament, do they get an at-large berth? Because they're right there, right in the middle. They're sitting at 31. Well, do they get in? Do they get an at-large berth if they don't win the conference tournament? So that's where those teams will get screwed. If other team, who gets screwed? Is it Northeastern or is it LSU or Ole Miss? Right? If someone wins in those smaller conferences up north, does the regular season champ get in and the tournament champ get in, or is this just one big league? So we shall see. Sun Belt doesn't have to worry about that. Although we talked about that yesterday, it's very odd that the Sun Belt is it's going backwards. Coastals, JMUs, they got issues. So. Right now it feels like Coastal, the Cajuns, and Southern Miss are getting in. I don't know about anybody else. Everybody else, Troy's got work to do to get in. I don't think Troy's in. Not yet. They got work to do in the Sun Belt Conference tournament. All right. Hopefully everybody's safe. Thanks so much for tuning in 50 on a Tuesday morning. Really appreciate it. I will post video from yesterday's press conference. I'm not sure why I didn't do it yesterday, but we got Deggs, we got Jerry Glasgow. Really appreciate it. Please like and share. The weight loss project's not going in the right direction. I think my scale was off. How could I weigh 208, less than 209 on Saturday, and like 214 today? I really didn't eat all that much crap. I'm not sure how that happened. So we'll see if we get back on it. I tried running again for a second time yesterday before the storm. So maybe we'll do that. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great day, everybody. Episode 37 of the Schultzycast. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday.